Hi guys, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 140, and we are officially less than 1 week out. And I'm doing a little something different this prep. I'm actually not working out leading up to the show. Usually, the last 2 or 3 days before the show, I have I do a workout, but what I'm doing differently this week is I'm just letting my body rest. And because you figure a week from the show, you're not gonna make any improvements. Your body's already beat up, and there's literally no point for you to push, your body to the extremes as we do it anyway. Whether it's a diet, and everything else that we do, and that's something that I've come up with myself because I've been on prep for around 8 months. So my body just beat up. But in terms of an actual contest strict diet prep, that probably didn't happen until probably I want to say April or May. But I've been dieting down since then. I think I came down from 180, 175, 180. So I'm probably about 140 something right now. Even though people are like, yeah, man, you was on prep for that long. I was like, yeah, but the way my body is moving real slowly. And so I had to manipulate the food and the diet and everything to make it to make my body move. Because every prep is gonna be different. It's not gonna be the same. And you can't do the same thing that you were doing before because your body's a living organism, so it's always going to adapt, it's always going to improve, it's always going to look for homeostasis, which is balance. And so with that being said, yeah, this is just something I'm trying out because after this show, I'm probably going to stop doing competitive bodybuilding. Number one, because I'm not gonna turn pro, and there's no point of me to put myself in a situation where I'm constantly dying, constantly dieting. I'm constantly putting my body under undue stress, and it's just really not worth it. I'm still gonna work out. I'm still gonna do everything else, but in terms of competing, there's no money in bodybuilding, and unless you are a champion bodybuilder, you know, and everything too. My regular 9 to 5 job, I make more money than some guys who are top, IBB pros. You know, so and it's less stressful, and I get a pension and all the benefits too. But today's episode, I'm gonna talk about something that's always been on my mind, and I probably hinted on it before, but dealing with rejection. Nobody likes dealing with rejection. I don't care who you are. I don't care how old you are, whatever it is. But everybody gets rejected. But what I mean about is being rejected from the opposite sex. Whether she doesn't want to date you, whatever it is, or she dated you and she wasn't feeling you, whatever it is, right? But from my experience, and not just me personally, I've had women that I've known telling me something like, yeah, I went out with this dude or that dude. I just wasn't feeling it. Now, bro won't leave me alone, yada, yada, yada. I've told him no. I cut off his advances. And a lot of the times, man, it's not y'all women for the most part. And I'm gonna get to what I mean, later on in the podcast. But what I mean is that a lot of the times, men don't handle rejection well. We're taught to not show our emotions. We're taught to not let people in. We're taught not to do X, Y, and Z, whatever it is, right? And so when we do that, we have a tendency to become emotionally unavailable. We don't know we don't know how to express our emotions because we were never taught how to do it. We were never taught how to handle certain things. I remember the first time I broke down and I cried about a girl, simply because it was so much emotion involved in that situation where I didn't know what to do, you know? And the only thing I could do was cry. And when I say I cried, I bawled my eyes out because I fell in love with somebody who didn't really love me back the same way. And when she ended up hooking up with somebody else, and she wanted to remain friends after the situation we had, I'm like, I can't do that because number one is like the feelings I got for you, they don't go away overnight. They don't go away. I may bury them, but it doesn't go away. And that situation really fucked me up because that told me one thing that is like, and I'm not talking bad about her or whatever it is, because I'm not. I still got love for her, but it's fuck her. Because she taught me a lot, and I still use some of the lessons that she taught me today too. And it's imperative to realize that not everybody deserves a place in your new chapter. And when I say chapter, I mean everyday pages, everyday communication, milestones, whatever it is. And a lot of people don't deserve that. They don't deserve to know what's going on with you because they're not important. You have to leave people where they at. You have to leave people in what I call those particular life chapters. You can't bring them forward with you because they don't have a place for you. Or there is no place for them in your current life chapter. And when it comes to rejection, man, a lot of women will show that they're interested, and give clues that they're interested. But when but when you tell them like, hey, are you interested in me or not? Whatever it is, boom, 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 boom. And this has happened to me where I've texted a girl, asked her out via text because, it's simple, it's whatever it is, right? And where they don't respond to the text message, but every time they see you in person, they want to communicate with you, they want to smile, they want to wave, but when it comes down to, communicating back and forth in text, they're ready to sign it, which to me is always weird. It's like, but then I thought about it. I'm like, well, you have to look at what the situations prior to meeting to you were. You have to look at what they went through prior to meeting you. And when I say prior to meeting you, you have to look at the type of dudes they dated, how long they dated the dudes for, what type of situations it was, whether it was a domestic violence, verbal abuse, physical abuse, whatever it is. And I recently just had somebody who I was feeling, I thought was feeling me too, because the vibe she was giving me off. And so I had asked her out via text message, didn't get a response back. But like I said, every time I saw her, she would try to wave to me, make small talk, or, she would try to cop a playful attitude, which I thought was kind of weird because I'm like, okay, you doing all this shit in person, but, you can't answer a text message. And I'm not going to bring it up in person because, everybody's on their phone 24/7. Nobody's never not on their phone, in this day and age, unless you blocked or whatever it is. Everybody gets your text message or you miss phone calls, whatever it is. And people want to say, yeah, well, I'm horrible at communicating. That's bullshit. Nobody's horrible at communicating. They just don't want to communicate with you. And I think that's imperative, man. It's like to recognize that people don't want, for whatever reason. Some people just, some people aren't friendly with you, no matter what it is. You could be the most friendliest guy in the world, but for whatever reason, they ain't fucking with you, and that's fine. No, you can't force somebody to like you when they don't fucking like you. It is what it is, and I think a lot of times people try to force relationships. I want to say relationships. I don't mean romantic relationships, but they try to make people like them, and I'm like, no, you can't do that. And I remember once somebody's asking me, like, hey, you don't look like you chase women, this and this. And I'm like, nah, I don't chase anybody. I attract people, and the difference is, chasing people and attracting people are two different things. When you chase something, you're looking to, to obtain something. When you attract something, excuse me, when you attract something, you have a tendency to already have what the other person is looking for. And when you find that, or when they find that in you, they automatically become attracted to you for whatever it is, whether it's you're physically in shape, or whether you're you have similar interests, whatever it is, right? So there's a lot of shit going on that a lot of people don't realize, that chasing somebody doesn't make them want you. If anything, that just makes them want you less. And I think that's what a lot of us men do. We're taught, yeah, we chase women, this and this and that, because we've all done it. We may not want to admit it, but we've all done it. And I think that's the worst thing you can do, is to chase somebody who doesn't want you, or chase somebody who breadcrumbs you. And that's the worst thing too. Chasing somebody who just breadcrumbs you, nah, it's cool, it's whatever, and but that says more about them than you. And so, and it's all about self-respect and self-worth too, because if you're doing that shit, that means, number one, that you lack the maturity and the self-respect to do that, or the self-respect for yourself to not do that. And when you're chasing somebody, that just means you're trying to find a distraction from whatever you have going on. I don't care what it is. And a lot of people don't know how to handle themselves in a way that's adult-like, and that's what brings you back to rejection. Rejection is not a bad thing. You're just being redirected into something else that's better for you. Whether it's a job promotion, whether it's somebody else that's feeling you, whatever it is, because you never know. You never know who you're gonna meet or who you might stumble upon. Hell, you never know who you're gonna meet at the grocery store. You know how many people get picked up at the grocery store, bro? A lot. And it's about I had a buddy of mine, real cool dude. He would always tell me, like, yeah, man, maybe I attract broken people, this and this. And I was like, no. It's like, I think what you do, you misread the signs into thinking it's more than what it is. And once you get fixated, you have a tendency just to stay in that emotion. And when that happens, it gets bad, because nobody's built to withstand that, man. Like, a lot of the times, us men, we will misread the signs, thinking it's more than what it is. And a lot of it has to do with the miscommunication that women give out, whether it's the playful flirting, or like I said earlier, the the copying of the attitudes, playfully copying of the attitudes, and just overly small talk and all kinds of stuff, right? Like, we go off those vibes. And so if you're constantly doing that, or if you're constantly texting us or whatever it is, we look at it like, okay, cool, what, let's go, let's go out, this and this and that, boom, 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 boom. And then when it's not that, we, then most of us men get offended. Or it's like women will use men for a free meal and activity, meaning is like, whether it's a movie, dinner, it could be, I don't know, maybe they need a lift somewhere, this and this and that, right? Like, I've had it happen to me before too, or I've had girls only call me for certain things. I'm like, call somebody else. They're like, what? Why? Because you only call me when you need something. So obviously I'm not that high on your list. But whenever I wanted to kick it, whenever I wanted to take you out, nah, you wasn't feeling me, right? So fuck it. You know, like I said before, it's never fuck. It's it's like I always got love for people, but sometimes, man, you just gotta tell a person to fuck off, cause that's what they deserve. You know, and I think a lot of people, they want to hold on to relationships and friendships that they've outgrown, or if they know no longer serves them, but they still want to hold on to them. They know for whatever reason. I'm like, nah, let that shit go. Let it go, because if you have no intentions of making it more than what it is, and if your intentions, and I'm speaking to the ladies, if your intentions, ladies, is to just lead us on and waste our time, then that's fucked up, because we could be out there talking to somebody else, dating somebody else, spending time, spending money on somebody else. But instead, here we are thinking it's something with you when it's really not. And then when we find out that it's not, and then when we change up, whether we get mean, aggressive, nasty, whatever it is, or passive aggressive, you want to fucking play victim. You don't get to play victim in a situation, because you could have just told us from jump. You could have saved us all this time and all this effort in the situation, and you could have been like, oh, okay, you know, I understand you feeling me, but I'm not feeling you. Hell, which reminds me, my first experience with online dating. This is back when I was in college, and so I pulled up, and the girl had no idea that I have a physical disability, right? And so I pull up. I think it was for coffee or some shit. So I pull up, and she was already waiting there, and my walk is noticeable. So I get out the whip, and her look on her face, it went from happy to see me to like, damn, he ain't told me he got a physical disability. And I understand why she felt the way she felt, because I didn't disclose that, and that was a fault on my, you know, on my end. You know, I was like 19, 20. And so I get out, and at the coffee date, and well, you know, what, 20, 30 minutes, you know, for this coffee or whatever. I was like, yeah, I had a great time, this and this and that. And she said, yeah, me too. And so I get home, text her. You know, well, not right away, but I text her, you know, a few hours later, like, hey, I had a great time today, we should do it again. And then she goes, well, I don't think we're a good fit, you know, yada, 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 whoop-de-whoop, whatever it is, you know. And I said, okay, you know, understandable. I never talked to her again. But I knew what it was. She didn't have to explain to me what it was. I knew what it was, you know. And I never got upset, never got mad. But, you know, it's like, you know, and because, like I said, I've been rejected more often than not, you know. I remember being told no more than being told yes. And I think it just comes with the territory. It comes with the territory of knowing who you are and knowing or what you're comfortable with, and realizing that, okay, this is who I am, and if you ain't rocking with it, that's fine, but I'm not gonna change it. I'm not gonna be something that I'm not just to make you be comfortable. And to go back to my original point, which is about women leading men on, I get why they do it, because they're trying to spare our feelings and everything else too. But sometimes, man, it's better to be direct with us rather than sit there and pretend it's something else when it's really not, because you end up creating a situation where you end up dealing with somebody who's not a emotionally developed individual. And a lot of us cats ain't built to handle rejection. We don't know how to handle rejection in a way that's a positive way, because we've been never taught that. You know, we've been never taught how to, you know, okay, like he or she, or whatever it is, doesn't like me. She said no, but I really like her, so let me try again harder. No, it doesn't work that way, man. That old saying, like, yeah, well, like, if she rejects your, advances with you, that means that means she wants you to try harder. I mean, no, that means she doesn't like you. You gotta recognize the signs. You gotta move on, and you gotta find somebody who's willing to understand that you are who you are. This is what you bring, and a lot of us are work in progresses, man. It's like we're not a finished product. We're not something that's completed. We all have our own flaws and fuck ups. And I think the faster we realize that, the better off we'll be, because you never want to be an individual who just, for lack of better words, who doesn't know how to handle him or herself emotionally. Because that's the worst thing you can do, is to go through life not knowing how to handle conflict and not knowing how to handle being told no. And the sooner you figure that out, how to handle conflict in a healthy, mature way, I don't care if it's in the workplace, your personal life, romantic relationships, platonic relationships, it doesn't matter. If you can handle conflict in a healthy way and not pop off and not get angry and not get mad, that's going to serve you in the long run, because it's going to help you become a better individual. It's going to help you become a lot more self-aware of what you're doing. And it's going to help you want to become better, because if you can recognize your own flaws and faults, then you can help yourself become better in the long term. All right, y'all, this is 22 minutes. If I like that, y'all won't get back. I will see y'all after the show with the updates and everything. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Hope y'all keeping the 4 Ps. Private player, positive pushing. See y'all next week Sunday. Ghosts.